Thank God. Oh, thank God. Yeah, otherwise I couldn't, I wouldn't do it. All right, so let's look at these documents here of what these demons did to these babies. Okay. This here is, um, this was filed the 19th at 4:18 p.m. And this is called, let's see, complaint warrant is what they call it there. Let's see what happens here. It just shows it's a warrant. And yes, I only put Vivian's name on there because what happens, I wouldn't have had enough to put, it's Jaymeson too. Jaymeson and Vivian together, the husband and wife. Okay. So here we go. And thank God they don't have the babies' names. Thank God. This is their charges. Count 1, torture of a child, a felony. On or about September 6, 2024 through October 1st, 2024, Vivian tortured a child, either directly or she was accomplice. Statement of probable cause. You guys ready for this? Are you guys ready for this? Just in case, I don't know if anybody will want to. Hold on a minute. Oh, I see what's going on. We're not going to look at their ugly faces no more. Now, hold on. What is going on? There we go. Just in case anybody wants to come up here and help me read. Just in case, not saying you do, but just in case anybody wants to come up here and help me read, that would be wonderful. We need to get their faces out there and what they did to protect these babies. And that neighborhood needs to know who these demons are. All right. So let's see. On or about October 4th, 2024, Officer Morgan was contacted by the Itasca County Health and Human Services. So what I'm going to say, I'm just going to be saying officer and child protection. Okay. It was reported that child 1 had a large black and yellow bruise on the upper portion of her right arm. It was said that child 1 reported that her dad, Jaymeson, did it after she got in trouble at school for running. Child 1 did not say anything else. Okay, the officer drove to the school. The officer spoke to child 1, or there's 2 officers actually. Spoke to child 1. She said she did not want to talk about herself, but did say that she lived with her mom, Vivian, and her dad and the 2 younger siblings. When asked to see her arms, child, see, now that's sad. That little girl is probably no older than 5. Okay, maybe tops 7. The one that's in school. Okay, look at they got that little girl so terrified. When they asked if she felt safe at home, she stated she did not want to talk about it. When asked about the bruises on her arm, she said she didn't want to talk about it. She didn't want to get in trouble at home. Child's teacher asked the child, okay, the investigators asked the teacher's child if the child had bruises often. The teacher stated that they have made reports in the past, one having a black eye. Oh, wow. When asked about her honesty, the teacher said child 1 does lie, but usually not about big stuff. What kind of teacher says that? What kind of teacher says that? Okay. Let's say the little kid is lies, right? Maybe it's her way of saying she needs help. I don't know. All right. Hold on. I'm going to go into StreamYard and look at this stuff. Hold on. I know, right? All right. And this is just a who knows what's been going on in that home. All right. Now, okay, the investigator spoke with Jaymeson, the dad, at a separate area at the school. According to Jaymeson, child one has significant needs and they're having her tested for autism. Jaymeson said that, I'm just going to say the dad. Child one has a history of self-harm. Oh, come on. And about 4 months ago, scratched herself all over her body. That little girl has been being abused. Jaymeson, the dad, they took the child to the emergency room, but it did not help. The dad, whatever. Jaymeson said they are working on getting child one into therapy, but everyone has significant waiting list. When asked about discipline at home, Jaymeson said he used spankings, but has not spanked the child in 2 months. Who spanks their kids? Who? Okay, my kids are like growing, okay, like really growing now, and they never got spankings. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. That's abuse. All right. He said they primarily use timeouts at the home as discipline. The dad denied noticing any bruising on child one recently. The dad said he is the primary one to discipline because child one does not view his wife Vivian as a mom. What? So it's not Vivian? Okay, we'll get into this more. Jaymeson agreed to come into the room with child one to give her permission to talk with law enforcement and the investigator. Jaymeson went into the room with child one. The investigators, Jaymeson told child one she could talk with them. When child one said the bruises were from Jaymeson punching her. Okay, hold on. Where am I? Oh my God. Hold on a minute. Where am I in this now? Okay. Officers noted that Jaymeson stared intensely at the child while she said the bruises were from him. I hope they never get to see these kids ever, ever again. Ever. Jaymeson admitted that an incident occurred on October 2nd, explained that this happens when she gets in trouble at school. She's shown a closed fist and an open... What? The child was showing a closed fist and an open hand. Child indicated that Jaymeson hit her with a closed fist to her shoulder where the large bruise was observed. Jaymeson said he hit the child 1 to 2 times. Child said it was 5 times. Investigators spoke to Jaymeson in a separate room. Jaymeson admitted hitting the child hands together. Okay, child's hands together on October 2nd because child was hitting peers at school. Jaymeson said child one often hit her siblings at home and tried to kill their cat. I don't believe him. Officers noted that child one had bruises on her hands. Oh, God. They took the little girl into custody. Jaymeson agreed to follow law enforcement to the bowling alley in Grand Rapids. Once there, he voluntarily gave... Okay, hold on. Let me get this up here. Let's see. He voluntarily gave law enforcement his phone to ensure... phone to ensure that he does not contact wife to impede the investigation. Jaymeson, they were at the bowling alley. Traveled to the home where Vivian, but she was not there to the home because they thought Vivian was going to be there. Law enforcement returned to the bowling alley, and Jaymeson called Vivian who stated she was out looking for him because she was worried, Vivian agreed to return home and meet with law enforcement. Law enforcement met with Vivian. Okay. Vivian explained that Jaymeson would spank child one for hitting peers in the school on Tuesday, October 1st. Vivian stated that she left the home on Tuesday night and had been hanging out with friends most of the week. Okay, you got 3 kids. Okay. Vivian stated that there was a video camera on Google Nest in the child's room that watched at times to make sure that Jaymeson was not spanking too hard. Vivian stated that Jaymeson usually spanks 5 times when she's in trouble. Vivian denied watching the videos of the spanking from Tuesday, October 1st. Vivian denied witnessing any bruising on the child this week. Vivian stated that Jaymeson had been the primary caregiver for the child this week, and that he is the primary one to discipline in the home. Vivian also stated child one is a difficult child. Wow. Vivian gave verbal consent to watch videos on her phone from the Google Nest camera. Morgan observed video from October 1st. In the video, Jaymeson was stepping on the stomach. Okay, hold on. Ugh. He applied pressure to the stomach, lifted his foot up, and began kicking the child forcibly in the stomach 7 times while he was yelling at the child. They observed him. He took the shirt and struck the child in the face multiple times. Jaymeson also was observed striking child in the face with the hand. Child screamed, and he said she will not be leaving her room other than to use the bathroom, that she will not be getting food, and she will not be going to school. Briefly reviewed other videos, and the child appeared to be lying naked in many of them. They were given a tour of the residence. They observed child one's room in the basement, which was bare, urine-stained mattress on the floor, 1 blanket, a pile of dirty dishes with moldy food, and a TV. Also in the basement was a game room, which had multiple alcohol containers on the floor on the desk. There were multiple liquor containers around the home within reach of the 3 children. In one of the bathrooms, the officer observed a glass paraphernalia pipe on the bathroom sink, which she knew from her training was commonly used to smoke substances. Vivian admitted to smoking weed in the bathroom. There's a blue container on the bathroom sink containing a green leafy. Okay, that was marijuana. Okay. Morgan observed a pile of soiled diapers on the floor in the master bedroom. What the fuck? Sorry, guys. I don't understand this. Noted there was urine, dog feces, dirty clothing, and garbage throughout many of the rooms. Okay, I gotta take a break. Wow. Hey, there's my girl. How you doing? Hey. This is so sad. This is so sad. Here's the house. Here are the demons. Yep. If you live in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, let people know about this couple. This is the neighborhood right here. Okay? Right here. Oh, God, I know. Right? This is new. This just came out. I just seen it today. And yeah, people need to know who these two are. When I seen those little babies, which I'm not going to show the babies, the kids, I'm like, oh no. With her little smirk on her face, her little smirk in her photo. Come on now. Uh oh. Nala, hold on, you guys. My dad's here. Hold on. Okay, so well, sorry. You know, my dad comes in here. Misty, girl. I got something in the mail from you. I sure did. I'm going to take a picture of it later, and I'm going to put on my community wall. Thank you very much. You're so kind. Thank you very much. So sweet. Well, you know, I lost my other channel. Yeah, the channel I worked really hard on for 6 years. Not only that, the only thing that upset me is my mom's cancer journey videos were on there. Okay, and my dad's, and that went with it. Mm-hmm. And I hope Jessie's proud of herself. I'll never forgive her. Yes, thank you. All right, let's get back to this. Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, she's lying on there naked. Oh my God, these people are sick. All three children were placed on a 72-hour hold. You don't put kids on a 72-hour hold. They just never go back. Period. Children was brought to the family adversary center in northern Minnesota for medical examinations. Photos were taken of child one's body and showed multiple bruises. Her arm, mouth, ribs, back, hands, thighs, shoulders, face, and ears. The medical examiner indicated that child one's injuries were consistent of physical abuse and some of the abusing in pattern bruising. At least 20 bruises were observed on the child's body. The dad was placed under arrest on October 5th. The officer went to the jail and took a recorded statement from him. Jaymeson stated the following. He resides, okay, we know where he lives. 2 of his 3 children are biological children with Vivan. Okay, so the oldest one is him with a previous relationship. Jaymeson acknowledged the reason for the interview was about the children. The bruises on the oldest child. Jaymeson agreed that, you know what, I seen pictures of that little girl. Actually, all the kids, and their eyes made me sad because their eyes in the pictures prior to this were dark. It had circles around them. Yeah. All right, hold on. Okay. The dad agreed that he was not fully cooperative and honest about the level of physical discipline within the household. He further explained that he was in the primary person in the household to discipline. He stated that Vivian had disciplined his child in the past. Jaymeson said that Vivian punished child one within the past week, explaining that Vivian punches child one when he is at work. Jaymeson explained that the discipline consists of yelling, spanking, but like multiple times, smacking the child in the arms, legs, top of head. He denied witnessing any recent discipline, however, admitting to witnessing Vivian punching child one about a month ago. Jaymeson said that Vivian had recently told him that child one was in big trouble because she likes to hurt. She likes to hurt animals. And I think that's a lie. I think Vivian told that lie to the dad. That's what I think. Vivian had to punish child one physically and verbally, and punished physically. It mainly occurs in child one's bedroom. Jaymeson estimated the first time Vivian physically punished was over a year ago, and the last time was last week. Jaymeson said that both he and Vivian could do better when it comes to punishing child one. Jaymeson said that the camera in his child's room to monitor her injuring herself and her sleeping patterns. Jaymeson admitted to the investigator that the last time he physically punished her was 2 months ago. Jaymeson, further admitted telling the investigators child one's self-harm was approximately 4 months ago, and she woke up with scratches all over her body and she was bleeding. He admitted he was fully not honest about the physical discipline within the home. Hold on. Not bleeding. Okay, on October 2nd, officers informed Jaymeson that she reviewed the video footage from Google's camera and asked if he remembered entering child's room on the 1st. Jaymeson could not remember that day. He could not. Okay, he could not remember that day when the child got in trouble at school and thought it was possibly Tuesday after thinking about it. James stated that he lost it. His anger was way out of control. Jaymeson explained that he had been stressed, anxious, and that his patient has been worn very thin. Jaymeson said that money has been stressful. Jaymeson also stated that he is stressed due to child one's behaviors and how taxing child is on his relationship with his wife. Jaymeson stated that child one came home from school and he sent her to her room due to her behavior at school. She peed in bed, soiled her pants. Jaymeson stated that the child one purposely pees her pants out of anger or hate. No, she doesn't. She's being abused. Right. Sorry, I had a drink of water. Oh. Okay, let's get back to this nonsense. Well, not nonsense. You know what I mean, right? Okay, due to stress. Oh, okay, so beat a kid. I bet he's in protective custody. Hold on. Money had been stressful, okay. Due to the child's behavior. See, you blaming the child. Blaming the child. When child one pees her pants because she... Okay. When asked if child pees her pants because of the physical abuse she endures, James stated no, he believes it's because she was SA while in her biological mother's care. What? Oh, he believes it. Okay. Jeez, that poor kid. Jaymeson said that he made child one take her clothes off when she soils them. He said child one was sent to her room, and then he started screaming and yelling at her. Jaymeson explained that he got all aggressive with child one, describing that he started spanking and smacking, and he threw the child around, spanking her, smacking her arms, smacked her hands together out of anger, described smacking the child in the butt, the arms, the top of the head. He covered the kid's mouth with his hand in an attempt to get her to stop screaming. Explained he applied light pressure, but probably harder pressure than he believed. He was covering the child's mouth. He stated he did all this while child one was laying in her bed. Child one was up and pushing up against her wall. He pushed the little girl up against her wall. He said he threw the child back onto the bed forcefully. He continued yelling at the child before leaving the room. And then another video, they asked if he remembered entering the child's room. She was laying on the bed naked. Now, let me tell you something. If you feel your child had been abused from when she was at her mother's, would you let her lay around naked? Would you even harm her? Who would harm a kid? Period. I don't understand this. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will. But these people need to be, people need to know. People need to know. All right. Laying on the, okay. And he was taking his right foot and applying it to the child's stomach. He said he remembered the incident, remembers applying pressure to the stomach with his foot. She observed that he lifted the foot up and started stomping on her stomach while the child was screaming and yelling. The dad said he thought he kicked the child in the leg, not the stomach. They asked the dad if he remember holding a sweatshirt, and he said he did. And the officer asked him what he did with that sweatshirt. He told him he took the sweatshirt and began hitting the child with it everywhere, including her face and stomach. They asked him if he remembered hitting the child in the head with his hand. He said he did not remember that. Jaymeson said that the video would be accurate if it would be shown. Jaymeson said that he remembered kicking the child in the legs. Officer asked him if it was common for him to tell the child that she's not allowed out of her room unless it's to use her bathroom. He said yes. Jaymeson stated that it's not common for him to tell child one that she's not allowed food when she's being disciplined. Officer noted that Jaymeson was heard in the video telling child one that she's not allowed to have food. Jaymeson stated that is rare, but the food is withheld. Wow. From a form of punishment. Wow. Wow. Ugh. Hold on a minute. I'm going to come back into stream here in a minute. Wow. This is horrible. This is horrible. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to read in. Oh, God. Because you know what? There is actually 3 different documents. It's like they've upgraded. They keep upgrading them. The first one was 17 pages. Then it got upgraded again. That one's 22 pages. And then there's another one. That's 11 pages. So there's some icky stuff going on here. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, about her eating in her room, about the food, it's a form of punishment. He agreed he physically disciplined multiple times a day. God, you jerk. Jaymeson explained if the child was good, if the child had a good day, She is not disciplined. If she had a bad day, she'd be physically disciplined, anywhere from 1 to 3 times. Jaymeson said it would be rare for him to discipline child more than 3 times a day. Jaymeson said that he will be struggling. Okay, he'll be struggling. He's been struggling a lot this past month and estimated the most he physically disciplined for approximately 4 times. Oh my God. He caused problems with, he says the child, the little girl, causes problems in his relationship with his wife. Vivian did not want him and the child to be part of the family anymore. Oh my God. Jaymeson explained that mornings are very rough on Vivian and that oftentimes she says she wants a divorce or him and the child out of the house. Jaymeson explained that a lot of these issues between them is because he refuses to give up child one. You should have gave that little baby up a long time ago. Jaymeson and Vivian feels as though they have run out of options for child one and have been talking about boarding school for her. Jaymeson stated that he and Vivian tried to get child one help several resources, but everyone was booked out 2 years. Jaymeson said that he had not tried contacting social services to get help. Of course you didn't, because you were going to get caught with all your abuse. Jaymeson said child one was eating paint chips off the wall in her room. It was diagnosed with pica. Officer said Jaymeson, if child one could have been eating paint chips off the wall, was doing from being hungry. He said no, but did admit that food is withheld from child one as a form of punishment. Jaymeson said he feels pressured by Vivian, and that is probably why he started to physically abuse child one. Wow. Jaymeson said that he believes that all of the bruises on child are from him, however, that some could be from Vivian. He stated that physical discipline has been going on for about a year. Oh, yeah. He said the discipline has gone past the point of simple discipline, has reached the point of child abuse. Admitted he thought about it and knew it was child abuse. Okay. So the officer went over the photographs with him, I think, and showed that she had black and blue eyes that the school reported. Remember, he said that the child gave it to her herself, but he admitted later it was him punching her in the face. Oh my God. They showed the picture of the child's back shoulder. It appears to be a handprint and believed it was from him. He said child one spends a lot of time in her room and agreed that child one comes home from school and remains in her room until she falls asleep. Jaymeson said that child eats most of her meals in her room because Vivian does not like when child one looks at her when she eats. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Can anybody guess what I'm going to do? Anybody? Yes, right? Yeah, no pee. Oh, thank you. I'm going to reach out to Vivian. I sure am. Sure am, people. All right. Oh, hold on. I got a cough. I got to mute myself. Oh my God. Oh, sorry about that. This little girl's gonna be damaged for the rest of her life. Okay. So Vivian hates it when the child eats and looks at her at the table. Okay, Vivian, I'm going to have a conversation with you. Jaymeson said he believes child one feels lonely, hateful, spiteful. When asked if child feels loved, oh my God, hold on. Oh my God. Oh, what is going on around here? Does the child feel loved? No. Explain. He shows affection by saying, love you, good night, and love you, good morning. What's wrong with those teachers at that school? That little girl is acting out because she's being abused. He told child one not to say anything about the physical abuse at home. James admitted that he told the child not to talk about it because he knew the way he disciplined children was wrong. Jaymeson agreed that child is afraid of Vivian and himself. Jaymeson agreed that law enforcement will be surprised when watching the video footage and the things they will find. Jaymeson explained that a lot of mornings he has to work. Child one does not get taken care of. When asked further explanation, James said that child one spends a day in her room and will not get food until he comes home from work while Vivian cares for her. Oh, yeah. Me and Vivian are going to have a conversation. Okay. Jaymeson said the only time the child is allowed out of her room is to use the bathroom. Explains that he knows the issue with Vivian, but Vivian says that she does not have time. It's overwhelmed. She's overwhelmed and has zero patience for child one. At this point, they would rather not have child one in the home. Approximately a week or two ago, he saw Vivian screaming at the child and smacking the child. James said Vivian told him that she woke up and one of the cats were screaming. Child one was choking it. James said that the camera has only been installed on child's room for approximately a month. Can you imagine? This is only for a month that camera's been in that room. Can you imagine otherwise? On the 7th, Vivian went to the Grand Rapids Police Department to be interviewed. Vivian went to the Grand Rapids City Hall building, which is non-secure area of the police department. The area is open to the public and the door cannot be locked from the inside. Investigators observed portions of the interview via closed circuit from the police department. The officers conducted an interview, brought up the Google Nets video that she observed from the child one. Vivian was asked about the child, about a particular incident where child one allegedly choked the cat. Vivian denied going into the child's room and disciplining her. Vivian eventually stated that she remembered being angry with her and she was screaming and said some hurtful things. Vivian said that she is on depression medication and does not remember any more about that incident. When talking about the cat incident, Vivian eventually said she woke up to the cat howling and said child one was holding it up by the neck. Vivian said that she yelled at child one and that child one dropped the cat and ran down to her bedroom. Vivian said that she got angry with child one to the bedroom. It was standing over the child, was laying in She was standing over her while child one was laying on the mattress. She admitted to saying such things like, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to smack you, and smacking her. Vivian said that she was mad and did not remember everything. Vivian agreed that the incident was probably went too far. Oh my God. Take away their rights. Take away their rights. During the interview, the bruises were found covering the child's body were discussed. Investigators asked Vivian if she assisted the child with bathing. Vivian said that she did. Vivian said that one would shower as well as take baths several times a week. When asked if she'd seen bruises that covered the child's body, Vivian said that she did not notice any bruising. Vivian thought it would be impossible for her to have seen the bruising, considered that they were okay. The law enforcement says that that's not even possible because this child had bruising all over her body. Okay, that's pretty much what the cops are saying here. At one point, Vivian said she felt her actions were wrong and that she needs therapy. Vivian said that she felt it might be best if she did not have child one. No, you don't even deserve your kids at all. Vivian said she discussed this with Jaymeson and has threatened to divorce him over it. Vivian stated that she did not know Jaymeson was abusing child one and causing so many marks. Okay. When asked about child one eating dinner in the room alone, Vivian stated that she sometimes does, and that child one prefers to eat alone in her room. Oh my God. Come on. Not a kid that age. When asked how often, she said almost every night child eats alone. Said that the food is not withheld from the child as a form of punishment. See, they're both lying. Law enforcement obtained warrants for the videos from the Google Nest camera and the phones of Jaymeson and Vivian. Text messages between them on numerous occasions. Vivian said she does not want child one in her house no more, and that she refused to watch and care for child one. Mind you, I want to let you know that Vivian doesn't work. She does not have a job. She is a homemaker. Okay. So she's at home. She don't do nothing. Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, she is. She sure is. Yes, they did. What about the family? Didn't the family notice this stuff? What about the mom? The biological mom? I don't know. This is horrible. All right, here we go. All right, on September 22nd, Vivian sent Jaymeson a text message that says, got her ass beat and I fucking hate her. A conversation ensued in which Vivian said the following: I'm so serious. I don't want her here no more. I will bring her to school. She can kiss my ass. I don't want her. I don't want anything to do with her. On the 29th, she sent another one that says, child's in huge fucking trouble. On the 30th, text messages between them said, showed that when told, Jaymeson showed that when told he may need to get child from school, Jaymeson said, I don't fucking get it. I reminded her yesterday that any red, she's going to get screamed at, and that if she'll get hit again. Oh, God. The videos were recovered on Google Nest camera. Show on child one frequently called names such as nasty and asshole and idiot and disgusting. That child is damaged for life. Yep. The video shows child one in her room alone for long periods of time every day. She has no toys, and at times she is seen playing with an empty McDonald's Happy Meal box to occupy her time. She is sometimes allowed to watch TV in her room, but frequently loses her privileges. Child is often told to lie right, which means on her back with her arms and her hands at her sides and her legs straight. The video shows child lays in that position such as her side with her legs crossed. She will be yelled at and told lie right. When told to lie right, is seen child child is seen in the video. Oh my god. Child seen in the videos lying on her back with her arms to her sides. Frequently only has a bare mattress on the floor she sleeps on. The video shows child one and deprived of having a blanket at night as a form of punishment. She has no blanket, at which point she puts a mattress. She uses the mattress as a blanket. Oh my god. She's left with minimal or no clothing on in her room. Child's bedroom is always there's always a stack of dirty dishes on the floor. Endures extensive belittling and dismissal by Vivan and Jaymeson. She is confined to her room, often from time school ends until she goes the next day. If Jaymeson or Vivan determine the child has been naughty, then a form of punishment is making her stay in her room, locked in her room. She has no toys in her room. She's told to go to bed at all times of the day and is required to lie right and hours to end. Child can at times be heard trying to engage Vivan and Jaymeson in conversation, however rarely acknowledge. The child can be heard saying, "Thanks, Dad, thanks, Mom," for meeting her basic needs, like when bringing her food. Those words rarely receive a response. Okay, September 9th, Vivan is seen entering child one's room. Vivan selects clothes for child one and throws them on the floor in front of her. "Put your clothes on now." Vivan remains in the room while the child attempts to change. Child one is seen getting into her dress and asks, "Will you help me?" Vivan interrupts and says no. Vivan walks out of the room. Child one is struggling to get her dress on or her dress off in order to put on new clothes. Oh my god, what's going on here? So what are they doing with this child here? She's struggling to get her dress off in order to put new clothes on. Eventually, child is unable to get her dress off and begins putting on the clothes Vivan threw on the floor. Vivan can be heard saying, "Put your shoes on." "I'm trying to get my clothes on." Vivan yells at her again and says, "Get your shoes on." Child goes trying to get dressed. Vivan is later heard saying, "It's not that fucking hard, let's go." On the 25th, Jaymeson opens up the bedroom door, yells at child, "Get up and go potty." Child one says she did. She already did. Jaymeson says, "Okay, go the fuck to sleep." Oh, what? "Okay, go the fuck to sleep, understand?" And the little girl says, "Yes." Then he says, "All night you wake up, you fuck." Okay, oh my god. "You wake up, you go the fuck to bed. You go to sleep." Then he shut the door. Little girl says good night. She don't receive a response. Review the Google Nest video shows child one has almost no autonomy in her home. Okay, that means hold on a minute. If child one needs to use the bathroom, she's required to ask permission. However, frequently her requests go unanswered and leads to accidents in her room, which she gets punished for. On September 7th, a child is seen eating a bowl of cereal on the floor in her room. The only clothing she has on is a t-shirt. Child one reaches towards her groin area and says, "I have to pee." She receives no response. The child is heard saying, "Oh, oh," and begins to cry and yelling, "Dad," again. There is no answer. Child then sits on her knees with her head hanging down and cries that she wet herself. A little while later, Jaymeson is heard Go to bed. I don't give a shit. You already peed this morning. Child lays on her back on her urine-soaked mattress. Child 1 soon takes up for a defensive posture and starts to scream. Jaymeson is seen walking to the mattress, raising his right hand above his head and slapping Child across the face. He walks away and she cries and yells, "You're disgusting, disgusting." Okay. On the 16th, the dad enters the room again. The little girl attempts to engage with him in conversation. He ignores her. He selects clothing for her and throws them on the mattress. Child 1 attempts to say something, but Jaymeson cuts her off and says, "That doesn't feel good, to shut your goddamn mouth a little bit." Jaymeson walks out of the room, she says, "I gotta go potty," and walks out of the room. Jaymeson is heard yelling, "Get in your room, get in your room." Child says she needs to go potty, and Jaymeson yells at her again to get into her room. Child is seen back running into her room. Not only does the child need permission to leave her room, but also to use the bathroom, but she needs permission to do basic tasks such as blowing her nose. A video from September 11th shows her going to the bathroom door and asking, "Dad, can I blow my nose?" Her request doesn't receive an answer, so she goes back to her mattress. Wow. Child eats almost all her meals in her room alone when she's allowed to eat. Jaymeson told officers she eats in her room because Vivian does not like it when Child 1 looks at her, okay? Jaymeson also told the officers food is withheld as a form of punishment. On the October 1st video, Jaymeson is seen and heard screaming that Child 1 is not getting food and will not be going to school. She's told she'll be staying in her room indefinitely. In a video on September 6th, Vivian is heard on the camera saying, "I know you're lying right now, and I'm going to beat your fucking ass." In a video on the 7th, Child can be seen taking up a defense posture while Vivian walks over to the mattress. Vivian then uses her right foot to kick her. Vivian yells, "Go the fuck to bed now," while kicking the child again. "I'm so goddamn sick of you." Then strikes the child on the midsection of her body, leans over the child as she cries and yells, "You get up again and I swear to God, I will kick your fucking ass so bad." And there's a brief pause while Vivian hovers over the child before screaming, "Shut your eyes, don't move." Wow. This is horrible. All right. On September 12th, child's lying on the mattress, covered with a blanket. Jaymeson and Vivian are standing in the doorway. Vivian enters the room and asks care to explain. Vivian accuses the child of trying to break shit. Child 1 is told to move her hands from where they are placed. The video shows the child has nothing in her hands. After some back and forth, Vivian uses her hand to slap the child in the midsection. See what Vivian's doing here? She's hitting this child in areas that people aren't going to see it. Yeah. Then she said, "I'm watching you. You act like I'm fucking blind. We see everything you do all day, every day. We're not blind. We see you. There's cameras everywhere. Every time you move, we get to see what you're doing. As soon as you move out of bed, I watch everything you do. Everything. And she grabbed the child's hands. Jaymeson asked child if she likes things being this way, to which she responds no. When asked why, because it's so scary, James eventually walks over the child and punches her in the hand. Then he yells at the child, so get your ass to sleep, or you will not go to school. No blanket tonight. And he kicks a blanket off the bed. And the child says, okay. A video from September 22nd shows child 1 laying on her mattress with socks, but no pants, no shirt on. Jaymeson walks in and says, did you have fun today? The child says no. He yells at her, says, just because I'm not here doesn't mean you can get away with it, does it? I mean, you get in more trouble. You're in trouble all fucking day, doesn't it? So tomorrow morning, be good. Mom will probably give you TV and breakfast, right? You ain't going to get that if you aren't fucking good, are you? And he walks out of the room. A video from September 22nd shows child 1 entering her room and her door shutting. Vivian can be heard yelling, yeah, you're fucking dead. Child runs to the mattress and sits down. Vivian opens the door and approaches child saying, yeah, you're fucking dead. Vivian stomps on the child's midsection and the groin several times with enough force. The child's body is seen bouncing up and down the mattress. Child is crying. Vivian leans over the child and punches her 8 times with her right fist before throwing many more punches using both fists, screaming, now go to bed. While leaning over child, Vivian then stands up and yells, now I hate you. Vivian leaves the room and slams the door. This is unreal. Ain't it? Sounds like Vivian's been the abuser the whole time. The main abuser. Because she's hitting this little girl on areas that people aren't going to be looking. This is horrible. And I'm going to contact Vivian. All right, where are we? Okay, a video from September 29th. Child's laying on her mattress. The dad enters the bedroom, sets a plate on the floor, pulls a blanket off child. Child flinches. James says, I'm going to tell you something right fucking now. Just because I'm home sometimes doesn't mean you can do whatever the fuck you want. If you're dicking around tomorrow morning, you will not go to school and mom will not take care of you. If you don't do good in school, I'm going to yell at you twice as hard. If you dick around tomorrow, you don't get to go to school. You don't just get to do anything. I'm going to yell at you even more tomorrow. Understand? Child says, yes, Dad. While speaking, he punched the child in the leg, and then he slapped the child on the top of her head. And then, the child's head is pushed down into the mattress. Then he grabbed the child by her hair and lifted her into a seating position. He was screaming at her, used his left hand to grab the child around the throat. The video shows child slightly rising from the mattress. Jaymeson then pushed her down into the mattress and walked away. He yells, finish eating and go to fucking sleep. A video from September 29th begins with child 1's bedroom being empty. Vivian's voice can be heard outside the room yelling, okay, go to your fucking room before I fucking kill you. The bedroom door opens. Child enters the room. Child 1 goes to the mattress and lies down. On the 30th, Shows the child laying on the mattress. Her dad tells her it's bedtime and that if she isn't good in the morning that she's not going to go to school. Jaymeson asks if she understood. She said she did. Child then says she needs to brush her teeth. Jaymeson says that she could brush her teeth in the morning. Child asks Jaymeson to make sure to find her toothbrush. Jaymeson then screams, "You're not in charge, are you?" She said no. And then he says, "Shut your goddamn mouth. You shouldn't tell me what to do. Just like in school, you're not in fucking charge. You don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me what to do." Wow. On the video from the first, child lying on the mattress, the dad enters the room, discovers the child had an accident. The child says, "I tried to hold it." He approaches her, then strikes her across the face, knocked her onto her back on her mattress, then hits the child 4 more times. Oh, okay. Each time she is hit, child's body can be seen violently jerking toward the top of the mattress from the force of the hit. Child one screams and cries uncontrollably. The dad yells at the child to get out of the room and eventually to get out of the room. The event continues into the second video. The next video shows child one coming back into the room, getting dressed. He said to her, "You don't sleep under your blanket. You don't sleep on it tonight." He continues, "And if you piss on yourself tonight, you're never going to school again. If you ever piss on yourself again, you will not ever go to school again. Understand?" The little girl said yes. He then walks away and says, "Now eat and go the fuck to sleep." A later video on October 1st that's 5 minutes and 4 seconds long, showing the following. The dad enters the bedroom carrying her by her arm. Child's feet do not touch the floor. He throws the child onto the mattress with enough force that her shoes fly off, almost hitting the ceiling. Child is screaming and crying. Dad begins striking child. He's punching her, slapping her over 10 times, grabbing her around her neck, lifting her up, slamming her back on the bed again. "You stop." And then he slaps her in the face. He again screams in her face, "You stop." Proceeds to slap her 2 more times. Vivan walks into the room and stands in the doorway watching the assault take place. Then he spits on the child. And then he bends down and covers the child's face with his hands. Cries become muffled. Vivan says, "You won't stop." So why the fuck? Okay. So why the fuck should dad stop? Jaymeson screams child's face. Okay. He punches her 6 more times with a closed fist in her head, stomach, her legs. He again covers child's face and her screams become muffled. When he removes his hands, child one can be heard crying. Jaymeson then screams at her to shut up and she continues to cry. He lifts her arms from the mattress and he body slams her down onto her back. Lifts her legs up and hits her 7 times. Is screaming "ow" again. He covers her face with his hands. Child cries, becomes more muffled. He grabs her by her arm, shakes her twice with a closed fist 5 times. He punches her 5 times in her butt. He drops her leg down only to grab her by... Okay. He grabs her leg only... Okay. He drops her leg only to grab her by her wrist, lifts her up on the mattress, yelling at her, "We're going to keep doing this." And then he slams her back onto the mattress, lifts her both arms up above her head, straddles her body with his knee on each side of her body, puts his hands on the child's face, Her screams become muffled again. He releases the child's face, rips her shirt off her body. Oh my God. Once the shirt is off, he covers the child's face with his hands. He releases it, and then he strikes her, grabs her upper body, slams her on the bed 4 times, grabs her wrist, makes her sit herself, makes her hit herself in her head multiple times. Child is laid on her back, still sitting. Okay, so oh God. So Jaymeson is still sitting on top of her. He grabs the corner of her blanket from the mattress, covers the child's face. The child screams are muffled. The blanket is smothering her. At that time, Vivian is observing the doorway, begins to egg him on and telling him things like, child has done this to upset her. Okay, telling him things that child one has done to upset her. Vivian says, so I dropped her off at school yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, love you, have a good day. And I was like, uh-huh. I said, I love you, have a good day. Uh-huh. James strikes child 4 times in the face. Child crying intensifies. He covers her face with his hand, continues to talk. The child's response is being dropped. Okay. Vivian continues to talk about child's response about being dropped off at school. Jaymeson then grabs child by the throat, stands up, slams the child back into the wall, back first. He continues to hold her up on the wall by her neck and her armpits. Child dangles above ground. James uses his hands to cover her mouth and screams to her to shut up. Then he slams her against the wall. Child covers her mouth and screams, tells her to shut up. Then he slams her against the wall again. She continues to cry, saying, owie, owie, and screams, you don't deserve your mom. Okay, you don't deserve your mom. He removes her from the wall and slams her onto the mattress again. After hitting child again, Jaymeson grabs her legs, dangles her upside down, rips her pants off her body. Child is dropped onto the floor head first, and then he uses the pants to hit her in the face. Then he grabs the child, tears the pants off her body, leaving her naked. He slaps her across her face before moving to grab the TV to toss it out of her room. Vivian moves out of the room and could be heard saying, now I'm fucking pissed. James stalks towards the child, and she is lying on the floor. He grabs her and forces her to stand. Then he drags her across the room and holds her back in front of the body while standing in the doorway, blocking her into the room. Jaymeson slaps her twice on the chest before grabbing the child by her hair, holding her up as she attempts to stand on her tippy toes. He smacks her a few times while holding her in the position. He bends down and screams, do you see her? Do you? Child replies, yeah. Jaymeson slaps her in the mouth. Then he shifts child's body and uses his hold on her hair to slam her face into the door frame. Child cries while Jaymeson continues to scream at her. Jaymeson stands up, lifts the child off the ground only by her hair, carries her across the room before slamming her back down on the mattress. He leans over. She's crying uncontrollably. He says, you can't tell your mom you love her. Jaymeson then spits on the child's face before the video ends. Okay. That is just in one video. That is rage. That is in a 4-minute video. 4 minutes. Yeah. Right. No, she's alive. She survived. She has been surviving this hell. This little girl ain't over 7 years old. All right. Okay, the next video after that, it shows the following. The dad's standing over the little girl. She's laying on the mattress. She's been thrown on. He begins punching. Okay, I've had enough. I'm taking a break. I need to take a break. That is too much. Yes. This is the pieces of shit here. Here's their house. Just in case they get bombed. Right here. Oh, let's see. Hold on a minute. Right there. I mean, come on, look at that house. Nobody heard this? Nobody heard that little girl screaming?
Late at night or broad daylight, she's bringing the truth into the fight.
On child torture charges.
Eric Shirley joins us with more on this disturbing investigation. And Eric, what happened in court?
Lindsay and Kevin, the Grand Rapids couple, remains behind bars tonight after appearing in court earlier today on the child torture charges. Barbaric assaults is how the Itasca County attorney is describing what the couple allegedly did to a child. Court papers say on one day, the child was allegedly struck more than 80 times, and it was caught on video. 27-year-old Jaymeson Wahlstrom and his 24-year-old wife Vivan Wahlstrom faced an Itasca County judge Friday, charged with torture of a child in Grand Rapids. Itasca County Attorney Jake Fishold writing to 5 Eyewitness News, the evidence supporting these charges is primarily in the form of numerous videos taken from a camera within the Wahlstrom home that depict the Wahlstroms engaging in barbaric assaults against a child in the home. Inside the criminal complaint, Jaymeson Wahlstrom allegedly told law enforcement they will be surprised when watching the video footage and the things that they will find. Grand Rapids police are leading the investigation. Many of the allegations uncovered by police, we can't report on the specifics. But one allegation mentioned in court papers, police officers watched a video seeing Jaymeson stepping on, kicking, and then struck the child in the face with his hand. Vivan told investigators about a different incident, allegedly saying, "I'm going to kill you," while smacking the young child, according to the complaint. Vivan told investigators the incident probably went too far. Court papers also indicate Jaymeson told police discipline had reached the point of child abuse. The complaint mentions authorities found at least 20 bruises on the victim. Again, Itasca County Attorney Jake Fishold leading the case, writing, "These heinous crimes are without precedent in Itasca County and rank highly among some of the most abominable child abuse cases ever encountered in Minnesota." Investigators say the child frequently only had a bare mattress to sleep on the floor. Child now is in protective custody. I reached out to an attorney that represents Jaymeson Wahlstrom, but at last check, haven't heard back. It's unclear if that lawyer is representing his wife as well. Couple is scheduled to be back in court again later this month. Kevin.
Yeah, Eric Shalou, just awful news.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And I'm going up there for the trial. I'm going to be there, people. All right, here's the court document. So bear with me, people. Hold on. All right. Ready? Ready. Here we go. Okay, it just says Jaymeson's name, but you know what? It's the same thing. So I didn't bring hers up, but it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same list of charges. All right. All right. Let's see. Actually, never mind. So this was a warrant. Count 1, torture of a child, felony. Offense date, 9/6/2024 to 10/1/2024. So let's see. The max sentence is 25 years. 25 years in prison to a $35,000 fine on or about September 6th to October 1st. I'll say the dad, okay? The dad is Jaymeson, okay? And I'll say the little girl, and then Vivan, the stepmom, okay? Tortured a child. All right, here we go. October 4th, an officer was contacted by a Health and Human Service child protection worker regarding a cross report that was received. It was reported that a child had a large black and yellow bruise on the upper portion of her arm. It was said that the child, one, reported that her dad, Jaymeson, did it to her after she got in trouble at school for running. See, now let me tell you something. What happened every time the teachers talked to the parents, that kid, she got beat every time. It's horrible. It's horrible. Shame on that teacher. Not believing that little girl. Okay, the officer traveled to the school and spoke to the child. Child said she did not want to talk about herself, but did say that she lived with, okay, said that she did not want to talk about herself, but did say that she lived with her mom, Vivan, and her dad and her 2 younger siblings. Vivan, okay. Hold on a minute, people. When asked to see her arms, okay, so this is a little girl. She said no. When asked if she felt safe at home, said she did not want to talk about it. When asked about the bruises on her arm, she said she didn't want to talk about it and did not want to get in trouble at home. Mind you, she's 7. Okay. Okay. The investigators spoke to the teacher and asked the child, one, had bruises often. The teacher stated that they had made reports in the past about the child having a black eye. When asked about her honesty, the teacher said, child does lie, but it's usually not about big stuff. That's what the teacher said. Okay. Then the detectives spoke to Jaymeson in a separate area of the school. Jaymeson has significant needs, says that child one, the little girl, and they're having her tested for autism. Jaymeson has a history, she has a history of self-harm. It's all going to make sense, people. Believe me. Just by the end of this, oh God, it's horrible. Okay. Self-harm for about 4 months, scratches herself all over her body. Jaymeson said that he took the child to the emergency room, but they did not help. Jaymeson said they are working on getting the child into therapy, but everyone has significant waiting list. When asked about discipline at home, Jaymeson said they use spankings, but has not spanked a child in 2 months. It's all lies. This is all lies. Jaymeson said that the primary use was timeouts at home for discipline. Jaymeson denied noticing any bruising on the child. Jaymeson said that he is the primary one to discipline because child is not his, not view. Okay, Vivian is not the mom. She's a stepmom. Jaymeson agreed to come into the room with the child to give her permission to talk to law enforcement. Jaymeson went into the room and told the child that she could talk to them. When asked, child said that the bruises were from Jaymeson punching her. Officer noted that Jaymeson stared intensely at the child while she said the bruises came from him. Child explained that this happens when she gets in trouble at school. When child was shown a closed fist or open hand, child indicated that Jaymeson hit her with a closed fist to her shoulder, where a large bruise was observed. Jaymeson said that he hit the child 1 to 2 times, stated it was okay. Jaymeson said it was 1 time, 2 times, and the child stated it was 5 times. All right. Okay, they spoke to Jaymeson in a separate room. Jaymeson was admitting now to hitting the child. Hands together on October 2nd because child was hitting peers at school. Jaymeson said that the child often hit her siblings at home and tried to unalive the cat. The child had bruises on her hands. So the investigators took custody of the little girl. Jaymeson agreed to follow law enforcement to the bowling alley in Grand Rapids. Once there, he voluntarily gave law enforcement his phone to ensure that he did not contact his wife to impede on the investigation. Jaymeson waited at the bowling alley while the investigators traveled to the home to meet with Vivian, but she was not there. Law enforcement returned to the bowling alley. Jaymeson called Vivian, who stated that she was out looking for him because she was worried. Vivian agreed to return home and meet law enforcement there. Hold on a minute. There. Okay, they met with Vivian. They explained that Vivian explained that Jaymeson has spanked a child for hitting peers on school on Tuesday, October 1st. Vivian stated that she left the home on Tuesday night and been hanging out with friends for almost a week. Vivian stated that there was a video camera, Google's Nest, in the child's room. That she was watched, that she watched at times to make sure that Jaymeson was not spanking too hard. It's all lies, people. These are all lies coming out of her mouth. She's a horrible, horrible stepmom. Horrible. Okay. Vivian denied watching the videos of the spanking from Tuesday, October 1st. Vivian denied witnessing any bruising on the child. Vivian stated that Jaymeson had been primary caregiver for the child. This week, and that he is the primary one to discipline at home. Vivian also stated that she's a difficult child. Vivian gave verbal consent to watch videos from her phone from Google's Nest. The officer observed a video from October 1st. Jaymeson was stepping on. Okay, hold up, people. Trigger warning. Okay. Was stepping on child. Investigator noted that it appeared that Jaymeson applied pressure to child's stomach, lifted his foot up, and then began kicking her, forcefully in her stomach several times while he was yelling at the child. Officer observed Jaymeson took a shirt that struck the child in the face multiple times. Jaymeson was also observed striking child in the face with his hand. Jaymeson screamed and said that she would not be leaving her room other than to use the bathroom. She would not be getting food, and that she would not be going to school. Officer reviewed the videos and noted that the child appeared to be laying in her bed naked in many of them. Let me stop here a minute. I want to show you guys something. Want to see their house? I'm going to show you their house. Here's their house. Mind you, they're not there no more. But look at that. Look at that little girl. There's not really houses. I mean, there's houses around it, but I don't know. I don't know how they got away with this. I don't know. All right, here we go. Okay, the investigators were given a tour of the residence. They observed child's room in the basement, which is bare, urine-stained mattress on the floor, one blanket, a pile of dirty dishes with moldy food in them, and a TV. Also in the basement was a game room, which had multiple alcohol containers on the floor on the desk. There were multiple liquor containers around the home within reach of the three children. In one of the bathrooms, officer observed a glass paraphernalia pipe on the bathroom sink. She knew from her training it was used to smoke controlled substances. Vivian admitted to smoking pot in the bathroom with a small blue container on the bathroom sink containing, so it was weed. Vivian, officer observed a pile of soiled diapers on the floor of the master bedroom. They noted urine, dog feces, dirty clothing, and garbage throughout the rooms. All three children were placed on a 72-hour hold. The little girl was brought to the Family Advocacy Center in northern Minnesota and was examined by a medical doctor. There were injuries to her arms, mouth, ribs, back, hands, thighs, shoulders, face, ears. The medical examiner indicated that child one's injuries were consistent with physical abuse with some bruising in pattern of bruising. At least 20 bruises were observed on the child's body. He was placed under arrest. On the 5th, hey, Spitfire's here. Hi. Okay, on the 5th, they went to the jail and took a recorder. They read him his rights. Let's see. He said he was married to Vivian and that he had 3 kids. One was from somebody else, some other girl, but we're not going to get into the mom at all. Absolutely not. Biological mom. And then the other 2 were with Vivian, his kids, okay? Let's see. Jaymeson acknowledged that the reason for the interview would be about the children. The bruises on his oldest child. Jaymeson agreed that he was not fully cooperative and honest about the level of physical discipline within the household. Jaymeson further explained that he was the primary person in the household to discipline. Jaymeson stated that Vivian has disciplined child in the past. Jaymeson said that last time Vivian punished the child in the past week was within the past week. Now listen, okay? This child more than just suffered physical, the mental. This mental stuff is this is gonna be with this child the rest of her life. I hope they got her getting help and away from everybody out there. All right, where am I? Okay, that Vivian watches the child. Yeah, she sure does when he's at work. Explains that discipline consists of yelling, spanking buttocks multiple times, smacking the child's arms, legs, top of head. He denied witnessing a recent discipline, however, admitted to witnessing Vivian punish a child about a month ago. Jaymeson said Vivian had recently told him that the little girl was in big trouble because of the way she hurts animals. Vivian had to punish the child physically and verbally. When child one is punished physically, it mainly occurs in child's bedroom. Jaymeson estimated the first time Vivian physically punished a child was over a year ago, and the last time was last week. Jaymeson said both he and Vivian could do better when it comes to punishing child one. Jaymeson described child one's bedroom to consist of a chair, bed, plate, stuff to eat, a television, and a camera. Jaymeson said that the camera was placed in the child's room to monitor her injuring herself and her sleep patterns, which is a bunch of BS, people. I think they got off on what they were doing. That is the situation here. Okay, Jaymeson admitted to the investigators that the last time he physically punished the child was approximately 2 months ago. Jaymeson further, who knows how long this has been going on with this little girl, by the way, people. Jaymeson further admitted to telling investigators that the child's self-harm was approximately 4 months ago when she woke up and scratched her body until she was bleeding. Okay, if the child is doing that, okay. Oh God, I gotta keep some things to myself. Okay, let me continue. All right, where am I? Jaymeson admitted that he's not fully honest about the physical discipline in his home until he was in the room with child during her statement when she said the bruises were from him. At the time, Jaymeson admitted to disciplining the child on October 2nd. Officer informed Jaymeson that she reviewed the video from the Google's Nest camera and asked if he remembers entering the child's room. Jaymeson could not remember what day child got into trouble at school, although it was possibly Tuesday after thinking about it. Jaymeson stated, I just lost it. And his anger went out of control. Jaymeson explained that he has been stressed, anxious, and his patience has been worn very thin. Jaymeson stated that the money has been stressful. Jaymeson also stated that he is stressed due to child's behaviors and how taxing child is on his relationship with his wife. Yes. Jaymeson stated that the child come home from school and was sent to her room due to her behavior at school. Child peed on the bed, soiled her pants. Jaymeson stated that child one purposely pees her pants out of anger or hate. Listen to this. Listen to Jaymeson talk here. On purpose. No, the little girl is terrified. Okay. When asked, okay. When asked if child wanted peace or pants because of physical abuse she endures at home, Jaymeson stated no, and that he believes it is because she was essayed along with her in her biological mother's care. Jaymeson said that he made child take off all her clothes off when he soiled her clothes. No, this is the thing here. He says this essay at her mom's, right? Listen to what he does. They make that little girl sleep with no clothes on. Okay? She's lucky if she gets a blanket. And she's got to lay in the prone position. Okay? Let's see. Okay, she was sent to her room and he started screaming and yelling at her. Jaymeson explained that he blew up when he found out that the little girl, the little 7-year-old, was disrespecting Vivan, the stepmom. He got aggressive with the child, describing that he started spanking and smacking, and he threw her around, spanked her, smacked her arms, smacked her hands together out of anger. Jaymeson described smacking in the butt, arms, and the top of the head. Jaymeson said that he covered the child's mouth with his hands in an attempt to get her to stop screaming. Jaymeson explained that he applied slight pressure, but probably harder pressure than he believed when covering the child's mouth. Jaymeson stated that he did all of this while child was laying on the bed. Jaymeson said that he remembered picking up the child up and pushing her against the wall. Jaymeson said that he threw the child back onto the bed forcefully. Jaymeson said that he continued yelling at the child before he left the room. Okay, Jaymeson was asked about a video from the burst and asked if he remembered entering the child's room while she was laying on the bed naked, and if he remembered taking his right foot and applying it to the child's stomach. Jaymeson said that he remembered the incident and that he remembers applying pressure to the child's stomach with his foot. God. Wow. Officer told Jaymeson that she observed that he lifted his foot off child, and started stomping on her stomach while child was screaming and yelling. Jaymeson said that he thought he kicked the child in the leg, not the stomach. Jaymeson was asked if he remembered holding a sweatshirt, and he said he did. And then the officer asked Jaymeson what he did with that sweatshirt. Jaymeson said he took the sweatshirt and began hitting the child with it everywhere, including her face and stomach. The officer asked him if he remembered hitting the child in the head. He said he did not remember. Let's see. Jaymeson said that the video would be accurate if it was shown to him. Jaymeson said that he remembers kicking the child in the legs. Where am I? It was common for him to tell the child that she was not allowed out of her room unless she has to use the bathroom. Jaymeson said yes. Jaymeson stated it is not common for him to tell the child she is not allowed food when she's being disciplined. So she don't get food. Okay, that's another thing. She don't get food. She don't get to go to the bathroom. Oh God. Okay. Jaymeson, hold on a minute. Where am I? Jaymeson was heard on the video telling child that she was not allowed to have food, stated that it was rare, but this food is withheld as a form of punishment sometimes. and he agreed that he physically disciplined multiple times a day. Jaymeson explained that if child's having a good day, she would not be disciplined. If she had a bad day, she'd be physically disciplined anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day. Jaymeson said that it would be rare for him to discipline more than 3 times a day, though. Jaymeson said that he's been struggling a lot this past month and estimated the most that he physically disciplined was 4 times a day. Discipline, okay. Jaymeson caused problem. Okay. Jaymeson said the little girl caused problems with his relationship with his wife. How can a little 7-year-old cause problems with your wife? I think your wife is the problem. Okay? The wife is the problem. They're both the problem. Because she don't want her. Let's see. She doesn't want him and the child to be part of the family anymore. Jaymeson explained that warnings are very rough on Vivian. Mind you, Vivian don't work, people. Vivian don't work. You know what she does all day? Okay? That oftentimes she says she wants a divorce. It's or wants him and the child out of the house. Jaymeson explained that a lot of the issues between them is because he refuses to give up his child. Maybe you should have. Okay? Jaymeson said that Vivian feels as though they have run out of options and have talked about boarding school for her. Where was the family, you guys? Where was the family? They have this little girl hidden in the basement. Where was the family? Okay, where am I? Jaymeson said that Vivian feels as though they have run out of options. Okay. Jaymeson stated that he and Vivian tried to get child help with several resources, but everyone was booking out 2 years. No, you didn't try hard enough, and that school did not help that child. That child suffered even more so because of that school, and the school should have picked up on all this. Okay. Jaymeson said that they have not tried contacting social services for help. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Jaymeson, child was eating paint chips off the wall in her room. Yeah, because she was hungry. That's why. Due to the food being withheld from her. Jaymeson at first said no, but did admit that food is withheld from child one as a form of punishment. Jaymeson said that he feels pressure by Vivian. It is probably why he started to physically abuse the child. Jaymeson estimated punishing the child 1 to 3 times a week. Jaymeson believes that all the bruises are from him. However, some could be from Vivian. Jaymeson stated that the physical discipline has been going on approximately 1 year. Jaymeson said that the discipline has gone past to the point of simple discipline and has reached a point of child abuse. Jaymeson admitted that he had thought about it and he knew it was child abuse. They went over photographs that were collected at the Family Advocate Center. Jaymeson, okay. The officer showed Jaymeson several pictures of bruises on the child. The officer asked Jaymeson how the child received a blue eye. Okay, received the black and blue eye the school had reported. Jaymeson at first said the child gave it to herself, but later admitted to punching her in the eye. Jaymeson thought he potentially punched a child in the eye on Tuesday, on the 1st, October 1st. The officer showed Jaymeson a picture of the little girl's back shoulder. said that the child spends a lot of time in her room and agreed that child comes home from school and remains in her room until she falls asleep. Jaymeson said that the child eats most of her meals in her room because Vivian does not like the child to look at her when she eats. So they would rather eat without the child. Jaymeson said the child sometimes eat at the table by herself. When asked how he thinks the child feels, Jaymeson said he believes the child feels lonely, hateful, and spiteful. When asked if the child feels loved, Jaymeson said no. Jaymeson explained that he shows affection by saying, "Love you, good night," and "Love you, good morning." Okay, they asked Jaymeson if he told the child not to say anything about the physical abuse. Jaymeson admitted he told the child not to talk about it because he knew the way he was disciplined is wrong. Jaymeson agreed that the child is afraid of Vivian and him. Jaymeson agreed that law enforcement will be surprised when watching the video footage and things that they will find. Jaymeson explained that a lot of the mornings that he would wake up, child one does not get taken care of. When asked for further explanation, Jaymeson says the child spends the day in her room and will not get food until he gets home from work, while Vivian cares for her. Jaymeson said that the only time the child is allowed out of her room is to use the bathroom. Jaymeson explained that he knows that there's cameras in the room and watching. Jaymeson stated that he addressed the issue with Vivian, but Vivian says that she has no time and is overwhelmed and has zero patience for the child. Jaymeson stated at this point they would rather not have child one in the home, the little girl. Jaymeson said approximately 1 to 2 weeks ago he saw Vivian screaming at the child and smacking her. Jaymeson said that Vivian told him that she woke up to one of the cats screaming and child one was choking it. Jaymeson said that the camera has only been installed in child's room for 1 month. Boy, could you imagine? Could you imagine the horrors that the law enforcement would have to do looking at all those videos? All right, October 7th, Vivian went to the Grand Rapids PD, which is a non-secure area of the police department. Oh, the Grand Rapids City Hall. The area is open to the public and door cannot be locked from the inside of the room. Investigators Batson and child investigator observed portions of the videos via closed circuit, and they looked on brought up the Google Nest video. She observed from the camera in the child's bedroom. Vivian was asked what happened with the child around a particular incident where the child was allegedly choked to death. Vivian denied going into the child's room and disciplining her. Vivian eventually stated that she remembered being angry with the child and she was screaming and said some hurtful things. Vivian said that she is on depression medication and does not remember any more about the incident. And, Vivian is a liar, people. Vivian is a big liar. I've been doing a lot of research on Vivian. She blames people for other things. She's got other charges out there, and she don't take accountability for anything. Anything. It's everybody else's problem. Right? Right. Okay, where am I? Okay, when asked about the cat incident, eventually she said she woke up to the cat howling, holding it up by the neck. Vivian said that she yelled at the child. The child dropped the cat and ran down to her bedroom. Vivian said she got angry, followed the child to the room, and she was standing over her while she was lying on the mattress, admitted to saying things like, "I'm going to unalive you." and she was smacking her. Vivian said that she was mad and did not remember everything. Vivian agreed that the incident probably went too far. During the interview, the bruises that were found on the child's body were discussed. Let's see. They asked Vivian if she assisted with bathing. Vivian said that she did. Vivian said that the child would shower as well as take baths several times a week, which we know that's a lie. When asked if she had seen any bruises that covered the child's body, Vivian said that she had not noticed any bruising. The officer told Vivian that he thought it would be impossible for not seeing the bruises, considering they were all over the child's body in different stages of healing. Vivian retaliated that she did not see any of it. Vivian then said that if there are little spots, she just chalks it up as a child hurting herself. At one point, Vivian said she felt like her actions were wrong and that she needs therapy. Vivian said that she felt it might be best if she did not have child one. Vivian said that she discussed that with Jaymeson. Jaymeson had threatened, with Jaymeson that she threatened for divorce about the issue. Vivian stated that she did not know that Jaymeson was abusing the child and causing so many marks on her. When asked about the child's eating alone in her room, Vivian stated that she sometimes does and refused to eat alone in her room. Oh, the child prefers to eat alone in her room. When asked how often, Vivian said it's almost every night. Child eats alone. Can you imagine that? 7 years old. Yeah, that's what's sad about these cases. They are really, really hard, but you know what? No one's protecting these children. Nobody talks about these kind of things because they're very, very hard to talk about. Very hard. But who's going to protect the kids, right? All right, where am I here? So she don't get food as a form of punishment. Okay, so there's text messages between Vivian and Jaymeson show numerous occasions. Vivian said she did not want the child at her house anymore and she refused to watch her. On September 22nd, 2024, Vivian sent Jaymeson a text message that said, the little girl got her butt beat and I effing hate her. A conversation ensued in which Vivian said the following: I'm so serious, I don't want her anymore. I will not bring her to school. She can kiss my butt. I don't want anything to do with her. September 29th, she said, child is in huge effing trouble. On the 30th, there's a text between them saying, this is Vivian, okay, that she may need to go get the child from school. Let's see. She probably got in trouble that day, too. She'll have to go get the child from school. Jaymeson said, I don't effing get it. I reminded her yesterday that any red, she's going to get screamed at and she's going to get hit again. And she'll get hit back. The videos were then recovered from the Google Nest, which had names of such as nasty, an a-hole, an idiot, and disgusting. So those are the names. In the videos, the little girl's in her room for long periods, at times every day. She has no toys at all. She can be seen playing with an empty McDonald's Happy Meal box to occupy her time. Child is allowed to watch TV in her room, but frequently loses her privileges. Child is often told to lie right, which means her back with her arms and her hands to the sides with her legs straight out. The video shows the child lies in one position, such as the one on her side with her legs are crossed, while she's being yelled at and told to lie right. When told to lie right, the child is seen on the videos lying on her back with her hands down by her side. Frequently, only a bare mattress on the floor that she sleeps on. The video shows the child is often deprived of having a blanket at night as a form of punishment. So the child, no blanket. Vivan or Jaymeson will move or take away the blanket. The children, she's left with minimal or no clothing on. The child's bedroom is always a stack of dirty dishes near the floor. She endures extensive belittling and dismissal by Vivan and Jaymeson. She is confined to her room, often from time school ends until she goes to school the next day. If Jaymeson or Vivan determine that the child has been naughty, then a form of punishment is made for her to stay home from school, locked in her room alone. She has no toys in her room. She is told to go to bed at all times of the day and is required to lie right for hours on end. At times, be heard trying to engage Vivan or Jaymeson in conversation, however, rarely acknowledge her. You can hear her say, "Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Mom, for meeting her basic needs, like bringing her food." The little girl would never get a response back. September 9th, Vivan is seen entering the child's room, selecting clothes for the child, throws them on the floor. She says, "Put on your clothes now." Vivan remains in the room, the child attempts to change. It is seen she's having a hard time getting her dress off, and she asks, "Will you help me?" Vivan interrupts and says no. Vivan walks out of the room. Child is struggling to get her dress off in order to put a new clothes on. Eventually, child is able to get her dress off and begin putting on her clothes. Vivan threw on the floor. Vivan can be heard saying, "Put your shoes on." Child responds, "I'm trying to get my clothes on." Vivan yells at her again, "Get your shoes on." Child goes, "I'm trying to get dressed." Then you hear Vivan say, "It's not that effing hard. Let's go." Okay, on the 25th, 2024, child is lying on her mattress. Jaymeson opens up the door and yells, "Get up and go potty." Child says she already did. Jaymeson says, "Okay then, go the F to sleep. Understand?" She says yes. Jaymeson then says, "All night, you wake up, you go the F back to bed, you go to sleep." Jaymeson then closed the door. Child says good night. She didn't receive a response. Review of the Google Nest video shows child 1 has no anatomy at home. If she needs to use the bathroom, she is required to ask permission. However, frequently her requests go unanswered, which leads to accidents, and she'll get punished for those. On September 7th, she's eating a bowl of cereal on the floor of her room. The only clothes she has on is a t-shirt. Child reaches toward her groin and says, "I need to pee." She receives no response. Child is heard saying, "Uh-oh," and begins to cry while yelling, "Dad," again. There's no answer. The child sits on her knees, then her head goes down, and she cries as she wets herself. A while later, Jaymeson is in there, says, "Go to bed. I don't give a crap. You already peed this morning." Child lays on her back on urine-soaked mattress. Child soon takes up a defense posture and starts to scream. Jaymeson is seen walking to the mattress, raising his right hand above his head and slapping her in her face. He walks away when she cries. She yells, and he's yelling at her, calling her names. On the 16th, he's in his room. The child tried to engage in conversation. He ignores her. He grabs her clothes, throws them on the mattress. Child attempts to say something, but Jaymeson cuts her off. That doesn't feel too good. So shut your dang mouth a little bit. Jaymeson walked out of the room. She asks if she can go potty and walks out of the room. Jaymeson is heard yelling at her, "Get in your room, get in your room, get in your room." Child says she has to go potty. Jaymeson yelled at her again to get into her room. The child seen running back in her room. Not only does the child need to go to the bathroom, she needs to leave her room to use the bathroom, but she also needs to ask permission. She has to ask permission for things like blowing her nose. In a video of September 11th, child going to her room door and asking, "Dad, can I blow my nose?" Her request doesn't receive a response, so she goes back to her mattress. Child eats almost all her meals alone in her room when she is allowed to eat. Jaymeson told officers child eats in her room because Vivian does not like it when child looks at her. Jaymeson also told officers the food is withheld as a form of punishment. Okay, we already know that. In one video on October 1st, Jaymeson is seen and heard screaming that the child will not be getting food and will not be going to school. She'll be staying in her room indefinitely. In a video from September 6th, Vivian is heard on camera saying, "I know you're lying right now, and I'm going to beat your butt." Okay, on September 7th, child can be seen taking up a defense posture while Vivian walks over to the mattress. Vivian then uses her right foot to kick the child, and she says, yells, "Go the F to bed now," while kicking her. Vivian says, "I am so sick of you." Some of the words I can't say, guys, you know that. Vivian then strikes the kid in the midsection. Vivian leans over the child as the child cries, and she says, "Okay, you get up, and I swear to God, I will kick your effing butt so bad." There's a brief pause while Vivian hovers over the child, and she said, "Shut your eyes, don't move." On the 12th, child is seen on a mattress covered with a blanket. Jaymeson and Vivian are standing in the doorway of the room. Vivian enters the room. Here to explain, Vivian accuses child of trying to break stuff. Child is told to move her hands from where their place. The video shows the child has nothing in her hands. After some back and forth, Vivian uses her hand to slap the child in the midsection. Vivian, see what Vivian's doing, you guys? She's harming this child in areas that people do not see. Okay, where am I? Okay. Midsection, okay. And then Vivian says to her, "I'm watching you. You act like I'm effing blind. We see everything you do all day, every day. We're not blind. We see you. Those cameras are everywhere. Every time you move, we get to see what you're doing. As soon as you move out of bed, I watch everything you do, or everything you did, everything. Vivian then grabs the child's hands. Jaymeson asks child if she likes being this way, and she responds no. When asked why, child says because it's scary. Jaymeson eventually walks over to the child, punches her left hand, then yells, "So get off your butt to sleep, or you will not go to school. No blanket tonight." And he kicks the blanket off the bed. And the child answers, okay. On the 22nd of September, she's lying on her mattress with socks and pants but no shirt. Jaymeson walks into the room and asks, "Did you have fun today?" Child says no. Jaymeson then yells at her, "Just because I'm here doesn't mean that you're going to get away with this, does it? I mean, you get into more trouble and you're trouble all effing day." So morning, okay. So tomorrow morning, be good. Mom will probably give you TV and breakfast, right? You ain't going to get that if you're not good. And he walks out of the room. Okay, September 22nd, they enter her room. Child entering her room and shutting the door. Vivian can be heard yelling, "Yeah, you're effing, oh my God." Child runs onto the mattress and sits up. Vivian then opens the door and approaches the child, says, "Yeah, you're effing, yeah." Vivian then stomps on the child's midsection and groin area several times with blunt force. Child's body is seen bouncing up and down off the mattress. Child is crying. Vivian leans over and then punches her 8 times with her right fist before throwing many more punches using both fists. Vivian screams, "Go to bed," while leaning over child. Vivian then stands up and yells, "Now I hate you." Vivian leaves the room and slams the door. All right, September 29th. Camera shows the child laying on her mattress. Jaymeson enters the bedroom, sets a plate of food on the floor, pulls the blanket off child. She flinches. Jaymeson says, "I'm going to tell you something right up and down. Just because I'm home sometimes doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. If you're messing around tomorrow morning, you will not go to school and Mom will not take care of you. If you do not go to school, I'm not going to yell at you twice as bad. If you mess around tomorrow morning and you don't go to school, you don't get to do anything. I'm just going to yell at you even more tomorrow. Understand?" The little girl says, "Yes, Dad." While speaking, Jaymeson punched the child in the leg. Jaymeson then slapped the child in the head. Child's head. He pushed the child's head down on the mattress, then grabbed her by her hair, lifted her up in a seated position by her hair. He screams at her. Jaymeson used his left hand to grab the child around the throat. The video shows child slightly rising from the mattress. Jaymeson then pushed her down onto the mattress, walked away. He yells, "Finish eating, go to after sleep." All right, September 29th, child begins, bedroom begins empty. Vivian's voice can be heard out yelling, "Get in your effing room before I effing unalive you." The bedroom door opens, enters the child. The child runs to the mattress and lays down. On the 30th, the child seen on the mattress. Jaymeson tells her it's bedtime and that if she isn't good in the morning, she's not going to school. Jaymeson asked if she understood. The child said yes. Child says she needs to brush her teeth. Jaymeson says that she could brush her teeth in the morning. Child asks Jaymeson to make sure to find her toothbrush. Jaymeson screams, "You're not in charge, are you?" The child answers no, and he says, "Shut your gosh dang mouth. You don't tell me what to do. Just like in school, you're not in charge." Jeez. Wow. Okay. October 1st, child's laying on the mattress. Jaymeson enters the bedroom and discovers the child had an accident. She said, I tried to hold it. Jaymeson approaches her, then strikes her across the face, knocking her onto the back of the mattress. Knocking her back onto the mattress. Jaymeson then hits her 4 more times. Each time he hit her, the child's body can be seen violently jerking towards the top of the mattress from the force of the hits. Child screams and cries uncontrollably. Jaymeson then yells at the child to get out of the room. This event continues into a second video. The next video shows a child coming back from the room, getting dressed. Jaymeson yells at her, you don't sleep under your blanket. You sleep on it tonight. So, okay. And if you pee on yourself, you're never going to school again. You ever pee on yourself again, you'll never go to school again. Understand? She says, yes, Dad. Then he walks away and he tells her, now go to F to sleep. A later video, 5 minutes later, okay. This video is 5 minutes, 4 seconds long, showing the following. Jaymeson enters the child's room carrying her by her arm. Child's feet do not touch the floor. Jaymeson throws the child onto the mattress with force that her shoes fly off, almost hitting the ceiling. Child is screaming and crying. Jaymeson begins striking child. Jaymeson slaps child over 10 times before grabbing her around her neck, lifting her up, slamming her onto the bed again. Jaymeson screams, you stop. Then he slaps her in the face, again screams at her, you stop. Jaymeson proceeds to slap 2 more times. Vivian walks into the room and stands in the doorway watching the assault take place. Jaymeson bends down and covers the child's face with his hands. Child's cry becomes muffled. Vivian says, you won't stop, so why the F should your dad? Jaymeson again screams at the child. Jaymeson then punches the child 6 more times with a closed fist to the head, the stomach, the legs. Jaymeson then covers the child's face, and her screams become muffled. When he removes his hands, the child can be heard crying. Jaymeson then screams at her to shut up, and she continues to cry. Jaymeson then lifts her off her mattress and body slams her down on her back. Jaymeson lifts her legs up and hits her several times, child screaming, ow. Jaymeson again screaming at her, spits in her face before striking her face again. Jaymeson covers her face with his hand again. Child cries again, become muffled. Jaymeson grabs the child by the arm and strikes her hand twice with a closed fist. Jaymeson then picks her up by one leg and dangles her upside down while he slaps her in the buttock for 5 times. He drops her leg only to drop her by her wrist and lifts her off the mattress. Jaymeson begins yelling, why are we going to keep doing this? He then slams her back on the mattress, lifts both her arms above her head, straddles her body with a knee on each side of her body. Jaymeson puts his hands near her face. Her screams become muffled. Jaymeson then releases child's face and rips her shirt off her body. Once her shirt is off, he covers her face with his hands. Okay, hold on. Okay. He then strikes her, grabs her upper body, arms, slams her on the bed 4 times. Jaymeson then grabs the child's wrist and makes her hit herself in the head multiple times. As the child's laying on her back, Jaymeson is still sitting on top of her. Jaymeson grabs the corner of her blanket from her mattress, covers the child's face with it. Screams are muffled. The blanket is smothering her. At the time, Vivian, still observing in the doorway, begins to egg Jaymeson on by telling him things Child has done to upset her. Vivian says, "So I dropped her off at school yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I love you. Have a good day." Um, okay, hold on a minute. And I said, I said, "Love you. Have a good day." Jaymeson strikes the little girl 4 times in the face. The cries intensifies. Jaymeson covers her face with his hand. Vivian continues to talk about child's response being dropped off at school. Jaymeson then grabs the child by the throat, stands her up, slams her back into the wall, or slams the child into the wall back first. Oh my God. All right. Oh God, where am I? Okay. So he's holding her up on the wall by her neck and her armpits. He slams her back into the wall back first. He continues to hold her up. Let's see. He's dangling her above the ground. He uses his hands to cover her mouth to tell her to shut up. Then he slams her against the wall again. And she's crying and saying, "Owie, owie." And then he screams, "You don't deserve your mom." He removes her from the wall and slams her onto the mattress again. After hitting child again, Jaymeson grabbed her legs, dangles her upside down, rips off her pants off her body, he dropped her on the floor head first. Then he uses his pants to hit her in the face. Jaymeson then grabs child and tears her panties off her, leaving her naked. James slaps her across the face before moving to grab the TV and toss it out of the room. Vivian moves out of the room and can be heard saying, "Now I'm mad." She said more than that. I can't say all these words on YouTube. I can't. Jaymeson stalks towards the child. She is laying on the floor. He grabs her and forces her to stand. He drapes her across the room, holds her back to the front of his body while standing in the doorway, looking out of her room. Jaymeson slaps her twice in the chest before grabbing the child by her hair, holding her up. She attempts to stand on her tippy toes. He smacks her in the mouth a few times, holding her in position. Jaymeson then bends down. Bends down and screams, "Do you hear? Do you see her? Do you?" The little girl says yes. He slaps her in the mouth again. Then he shifts the child's body and uses his hold on her hair to slam her face in the door frame. The child cries while Jaymeson continues to scream at her. Jaymeson stands up, lifts child off the ground only by her hair, carries her across the room before slamming her back down on the mattress. Jaymeson then leans over on the child, and she's crying uncontrollably and yells, "You can't even tell your mom you love her?" Then he spits in her face and the video ends. The next video It's a continuous of the previous video. It shows him standing over her as she's lying in the mattress. I mean, come on. What is wrong with these people? Jesus. This is the same day. He came back in there again. Okay, he's standing over her, lying. Okay, she's lying on the mattress. She just thrown on, that she was just throwing on. He begins punching her and slapping her. He hits her 7 times. Okay, then he grabs her by her arm and slams her down on the mattress several times, enough to cause his glasses to fall off his face. Vivian then walks back into the room, watching the child's beatings. Jaymeson uses the blanket to cover the child's entire head. So he's pretty much smothering her right now with the blanket. He did it 4 times, putting it on her face and head, taking it off, putting it on her face and head, taking it off. Let's see what else. Oh, God. Then you got Vivian, good old Vivian. Okay. Jaymeson then shakes child 1 before slamming her onto the mattress. Jaymeson picks up the blanket from the side of the child's body and slams her onto the mattress again. Jaymeson stands up for 1 minute and 7 seconds and walks towards her, the bedroom door where Vivian is observing. Child lays on her back on the mattress naked while crying and attempting to catch her breath. Jaymeson gets to the door. Vivian says, "Shut up. If you don't shut up, I swear to God, I'll have Dad keep doing it." Jaymeson and Vivian exit the room and close the door. For the remaining 2.5 minutes of the video, child lays on the mattress and appears to be hyperventilating. She attempts to hold her sobs in and remain quiet as quiet as she cries. Oh my God, it's the same day. Holy crap. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Shows a child naked on the mattress. She's most quiet at this point. Jaymeson enters the bedroom. "Quiet, why are you crying?" "Because I'm scared." Jaymeson walks over to the mattress and begins mocking the child. Child puts her hands up defensively. Jaymeson then punches child in the chest. He continues to mock her and lightly punch her in the stomach 9 times before slapping her across her face. Then he kicks her in the leg twice. He kicks her a 3rd time with more force. Child is screaming. "What did I tell you?" "Okay, what did I tell you this morning? What was going to happen if you did bad things?" Child responds in broken cries. "I'm going to get hurt." Jaymeson said, "Nope, that's not what I told you. So obviously you weren't listening to me." Child says, "I was." He goes, "What did I say? What's going to happen to you if okay. What's going to happen if you hit someone again?" Child says, "You're going to scream at me." Jaymeson said, "Nope." And yells in the child's face, "You obviously weren't listening. I told you to DIE." Where am I? Jaymeson used a sweatshirt that he was holding in his hands to whip the child twice. He forcibly stepped out on the child's face and neck. He moves his foot to her chest and stands on her. Jaymeson removes his foot from the child's chest, bends over the top of her and makes a fist, raises her arms to cover her face. Jaymeson uses his hand to pinch the child's mouth closed. The child struggles to breathe. Jaymeson quickly removes his hand from the mouth and punches her in the face. Child cries and says, "Owie." Jaymeson tells her to shut up. You lay there and you do nothing but go potty and go back to your bed until you can choose to respect your mom and everyone in school. Understand? She says, "Yes, Dad." Until you, oh God, we can't. Until you have some words to say, you will not be going to school. You will be not getting any food. You won't be getting anything but your bed and toilet. You better effing think of some meaningful words for your mom or she won't be taking care of you. Jaymeson say a few more things before leaving the room. Child lying naked on her mattress for the rest of the video. A continuation. She's still laying naked. And Jaymeson opens the door. Oh gosh, this moved on its own. That was weird. Let's see. So he comes in there. Jaymeson says, "What?" Child responds, "What do you mean, what?" Jaymeson tells her he's extremely mad at her, that she will not be going to school anymore until she can treat people with respect. Jaymeson enters the room and says, "I heard you." However, child did not say anything. So he punched her in the chest. She began to cry. Do you like being... Oh, I can't read that. Beat for no reason. Jaymeson bends over and punches her again in the chest. Then he grabs her right arm and punches her hand. She continues to cry. Jaymeson leans down and uses his hand to cover child's face, including her mouth and nose. He uses pressure to push her head further into the mattress. The last 10 seconds before he releases it slightly, the child can be heard struggling to breathe. Boy, God. Once Jaymeson released child's face, he leans over and screams directly in her ear. He punches the child in the leg before walking out. And then he yells at the child for disrespecting her mother. And the child's laying naked on the mattress. Oh, God. A later video, child sitting up on her mattress, putting on a pair of pants. She stands up and multiple red marks are visible on her body, appears to move slowly, as in pain. At 1 minute and 27 seconds, Vivan is overheard over the camera telling child to lay down, go to bed, and get your effing pants off. Child removes her pants and lays back down on the mattress. Okay, I hope there's going to be more charges. There's got to be more than just this one child torture, okay? They better be adding more. What they did to this little girl, she's damaged for the rest of her life. One count of torture. Oh my God. Oh God. I want to thank everybody for being here. I know it's tough. It is. I'm going to this trial. And you know what's really sad? Watching Vivian's face. Every time she's in the court, she's smiling. Like she's having a good old time. She's always got a little smirk on her face. This little girl was felt by everybody. Everybody. Hey, girl. I hope you're doing okay. I told everybody what was going on with you. Sorry, I had a cough. Yeah, don't think that I was not paying attention to any of you. I had to get through it because this is important. I'm not going to quit talking about it. And I'm going to be in that courtroom for the trial. Yes. When I was listening to court today, there is so many videos. They said there's so much discovery. There's so many videos. It's going to take forever. Yeah. Hi. Love you, Miss Barbara. No, I'm going there. I'm going to be there in that courtroom. That's where I'm going to be. I don't know if this trial is going to be televised or not. Okay, I'm not.
Late at night or broad daylight, she's bringing the truth into the fight, shining a light where the shadows creep, for the lost, the stolen, the ones who will weep. She won't turn away, she won't back down, even when the loony clowns come round. Threats don't shake her, lies don't win. She stands for justice right till the end. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids, true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook stream, she'll fight for you. Some chase fame, some chase views, but she fights for those with nothing to lose. For the kids who vanish without a trace, she won't stop till she cracks the case. They try to silence, they try to scare, but truth don't break and she's still there, calling out monsters, showing their game. Justice comes when you speak their name. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kid true crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook stream, she'll fight for you. Need a voice, kids stand strong. She makes the choice for victims gone, for those in need. She's fighting hard, she won't concede. Want the truth, want the best, wanna be safe as you chat. Find kids through crime, it's worth your time. She's got your back, she's on the line. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok too, Facebook streams, she'll fight for you. At the end of the day, this is all we have to say. Viper will always have her back. He will kick you right in the sack.
Hello, my beautiful peoples. Hi, Misty. How you doing, girl? Did you watch 48 Hours? That link I sent you? Hey, sis. How you doing? You feeling good? Are you feeling better? I hope so. All right. Do you people remember the House of Horrors? You guys remember? In Grand Rapids, Minnesota, we have an update. Okay. Now, I don't do much of this case really on YouTube because YouTube is really censoring this. And I don't, okay, it's their platform, but come on, some of the stuff needs to be talked about. It's not like I'm just putting out all the gore and stuff. No, I don't like talking about all the gore into this case, but we want to get justice for this little girl, right? And make people aware of the evil that's walking amongst you in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, right? Could be your neighbor. I remember that case. I know it was a high profile case. Okay. So was it Friday? Jaymeson here, he got a warrant for his arrest. Okay. I was in shock because he got to get out on bail. He got bail, which shocked me because that little girl was tortured, okay, and stuck in a room. So I feel the dad and the stepmom should be in a jail cell, okay? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, this is what we're gonna do real quick, like. So he had court today. They tried to sneak one in on me, but you know what? I'm good. I'm good at what I do. Okay. I'm good at what I do. I'm good at what I do. All right. So this is his charges. Him and his wife. Okay. Which is this child's stepmother, and her stepmother is pure evil. So he's facing, well, both of them, count 1, torture of a child. Okay. And I'm not going to read it. Okay, I'm not going to read it. If you want to read it, or if you want to hear it, go to my Facebook. Okay, because that's where I could talk about it. All right, so let's see here. So he got a warrant. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Okay, we're right here. Let's see. Oh, okay, it is going to work for me. All right, so as you see here, he ended up getting a bail for $80,000. Okay, and that was on 3/3/25. Shockingly, hold on a minute. I've got to get this out of there. Why is this not working for me? I'm going to be careful, people. All right, so we got that. On 3/14, he got a warrant. The sheriff of Itasca County and any other person authorized by law to execute this warrant. Okay? And that was on March 13th. So today, is this from today? Statements of rights, probation violation on Jaymeson. Do they call him Jay? I think they call him Jay. Okay. All right. And during his hearing today, you guys. All right. He's got bail. They gave him bail, right? $170,000 without conditions, $85,000 with the conditions below. So remand. Now, what's crazy, they don't really go into details about this. I want to know how he was able to talk to his ex-wife or his wife on the phone when she's at jail. Okay? So yeah, he's able to get bail, people. What do you think about that? I don't agree with it. I find it strange that you're being charged the same thing. You got a co-conspirator with you, right? And you can talk to that person. She's still in jail. He was talking to her. I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He violated it. He violated, right? And he got bail again. I don't understand it. Made that little girl starve in that room. All the other things that he did to her. I think they should be in a jail cell. And the thing about it is, okay, we talk about innocent until proven guilty, right? However, in this case, it's different. Want to know why I say it's different? Because he admitted to it. That's why. And there's video proof of what he did and what she did. So there's that. What do you think about that? Anybody? Anybody? Hold on a minute, people. All right. Well, okay. You just tell your boss to knock it off, because every time I'm live, your boss is talking to you, and I don't appreciate that at all. at all. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. But yeah, I did. I do mean it. I do mean it. Hey, everybody, tomorrow, we are going to watch a movie on Rumble, and I will put the link. In the on my community wall, and we're going to watch Trial by, what is it called again? Trial by Fire. Yes, Trial by Fire. True story. It's a true story, people. I do not believe in putting your hands on a child for any reason. You're a 3-year. Ha 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 ha. I know. You remember this case now? You remember this? It's bad. I can't talk about it on here though, because YouTube said so. She nerves me, especially when I'm watching your lives. I know. What is up with that? You know what? I don't like your boss. How about that? Can you tell your boss that? Nah, just kidding. You know that. I'm playing. So there was something else I wanted to do later. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Okay? If you're Irish, all right? Or if you just like eating corned beef and drinking green beer and eating cabbage. So I want to do a live later, and I'm trying to figure out what. But this is just a surprise live because, Jaymeson here had court for that violation. Now, if he bails out, right, I will immediately come back on and say, he's out, people. He's out. He got out. Hi, Patty Sturgis. How you doing? All right, everybody, I'm going to go for now. Good. Well, we're just ending this live. This was just a quick surprise live about this little demon here. Because, Patty, I don't know if you know about this case. I can't even get into it because YouTube won't let me. But he's being charged with torture of his child. Yeah. So anyways, he got bailed, right? And then he got a violation being out on bail. And so, yeah. And he got bail again. So there's that. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, we're going to do a movie tomorrow, by the way. It is, because these things need to be talked about. These kind of people need to know these demons walk amongst us. These type of people. It's happening right next door. You don't know. What were we watching? And somebody was being tortured. That whatchamacallit? In Connecticut, that 31-year-old guy that weighs 68 pounds, that was in captivity for 20 years by his stepmom. Patreon, no, see, this is a situation. I got Patreon for that reason. Patreon will take my video down also because we did it with another video. Because they're legit movies, right? There ain't nothing that we're watching on YouTube. I'm going to like, Prime. I'm going to like my HBO Max, and they still took me down. They take me down here. They take me down on Patreon. They take me down on Facebook. And the only place I'm safe is Rumble. But you people need to know you don't need a Rumble account at all. All I need to do is give you guys a little link to where we're watching it. And there you go. The only difference is that we can't talk. That's another one. Yes. That's another case. You just don't know what's going on. But this case is so sad. I mean, come on, man. Little 7-year-old. It's all bad. Period. I'm sorry. It's all bad. I mean, and look at what is that? What was that? Was it Ruby Frankie case? Look at what she did. Oh my God, guys, the pictures are horrible. Because I got the I don't want to call them crime scene, but her son's body was a crime scene, and I wanted to vomit. I was just in shock that somebody could do that to a child. It's sick. She was, wasn't she? But yeah, I'll be back later. This is just going to be a quick one. I'll figure it out. But thank you for coming through. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Harmony Montgomery. Yes, and that baby's still missing. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.